Yeah. Oh, hello, and welcome to No Twain, No Game. This is part 2 of 4 of our reading of Eve's Diary. Thank you all for joining in tonight. Thank you for those of us joining us again, and for those of you, this is your first time, welcome aboard. I'm happy to announce we have got the YouTube working this evening, so we will be streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram simultaneously, as they say. So thank you all so much for tuning in. you're all staying safe out there, and hope the Omicron hasn't grabbed you yet. And if it has, I'm right there with you as well. I would like to report, though, that today was a good day. The symptoms have improved dramatically. I have not been as congested up in here so much as it's mostly moved down here. So I do feel like it's on its way out, which does give me some peace of mind. But for those of you who are still stuck indoors and can't go anywhere and can't talk to anyone, well, I hope that you enjoy this evening with us here tonight. So, without further ado, if you did not meet Grogu before, Grogu is here. For those of you that can see him, he'll be joining us this evening. And let me just get the book down here for my good friend Apollo. Apollo, say hello to the nice people. But I say hello, Apollo. He's cute, isn't he? All right, thank you, Apollo. That is all. You may go. Oh, how could I forget? Let's use these nowadays. There we go. Right, let's see. Where do we all leave off here anyway? There we go. Ah, yes. Page 23 is the word. So, this is part 2 of Eve's Diary by Mark Twain. Wednesday. We are getting along very well indeed now and getting better and better acquainted. He does not try to avoid me anymore, which is a good sign and shows that he likes to have me with him. Well, that pleases me, and I study to be useful to him in every way I can so as to increase his regard. During the last day or two, I have taken all the work of naming things off his hands, and this has been a great deal of relief to him, for he has no gift in that line, and is evidently very grateful. He can't think of a rational name to save him, but I do not let him see that I'm aware of his defect. Whenever a new creature comes along, I name it before he has time to expose himself by an awkward silence. In this way, I have saved him embarrassments. I have no defect like this. The minute I set my eyes on an animal, I know what it is. I don't have to reflect a moment. The right name comes out instantly, just as if it were an inspiration, as no doubt it is, for I am sure it wasn't in me half a minute before. I seem to know just by the shape of the creature and the way it acts what animal it is. When the dodo came along, he thought it was a wildcat. I saw it in his eye. But I saved him, and I was careful not to do it in a way that could hurt his pride. I just spoke up in a quite natural way of pleased surprise, and not as if I was dreaming of conveying information, and said, "Well, I do declare if that isn't the dodo." I explained without seeming to be explaining how I knew it for a dodo, and although I thought maybe he was a little piqued that I knew the creature when he did it was quite evident that he admired me. That was very agreeable, and I thought of it more than once with gratification before I slept. A little thing can make us happy when we feel that we have earned it. Thursday, my first sorrow. Yesterday he avoided me and seemed to wish I would not talk to him. I could not believe it. I thought there was some mistake, for I loved to be with him. I loved to hear him talk. And so how could it be that he could feel unkind towards me when I had not done anything? But at last it seemed true. So I went away and sat lonely in the place. When I first saw him the morning that we were made, I did not know what he was indifferent about me. But now it was a mournful place, and every little thing spoke of him, and my heart was very sore. I did not know why very clearly, for it was a new feeling. I had not experienced it before, and it was all a mystery, and I could not make it out. But when night came, I could not bear the lonesomeness, and went to the new shelter which he has built, to ask him what I had done that was wrong, and how I could mend it and get back his kindness again. But he put me out in the rain, and it was my first sorrow. Sunday. It is pleasant again now, and I am happy. But those were heavy days. I do not think of them when I can help it. I tried to get him some of those apples, but I cannot learn to throw straight. I failed, but I think the good intention pleased him. They are forbidden, and he says I shall come to harm. But so I'll come to harm through pleasing him. Why shall I care for that one? Monday. This morning I told him my name, hoping it would interest him. Then he did not care for it. It is strange. If he should tell me his name, I would care. I think it would be pleasanter in my ears than any other sound. He talks very little. Perhaps it is because he is not bright, and is sensitive about it, and wishes to conceal it. It is such a pity that he should feel so, for brightness is nothing. It is the heart that the values lie. I wish I could make him understand that a loving, good heart is riches, and riches enough, and that without it, intellect is poverty. Although he talks so little, he has quite a considerable vocabulary. This morning he used a surprisingly good word. He evidently recognized himself that it was good, that it was a good one, for he worked in it twice afterward casually. It was not good casual art, still it showed that he possesses a certain quality of perception. Without a doubt, that seed can be made to grow, if cultivated. Where did he get that word? I do not think I've ever used it. No, he took no interest in my name. Tried to hide my disappointment, but I suppose I did not succeed. I went away and sat on the moss bank with my feet in the water. It is where I go when I hunger for companionship. Someone to look at, someone to talk to. It is not enough that lovely white body painted there in the pool, but it is something, and something is better than utter loneliness. It talks when I talk. It is sad when I am sad. It comforts me with its sympathy. It says, "Do not be downhearted, you poor friendless girl. I will be your friend." It is a good friend to me, and my only one. It is my sister. That first time that she forsook me, I shall never forget that. Never, never. My heart was lead in my body, I said. She was all I had, and now she is gone. In my despair, I said, "Break my heart, I cannot bear my life any more," and hid my face in my hands. There was no solace for me. And when I took them away after a little, there she was again, white, shining, beautiful, and I sprang into her arms. That was perfect happiness. I had known happiness before, but it was not like this, which was ecstasy. I never doubted her afterwards. Sometimes she stayed away, maybe an hour, maybe almost the whole day. But I waited and did not doubt. I said, "She is busy, or she has gone on a journey, but she will come." And it was so. She always did. At night she would not come if it was dark, for she was a timid little thing. But if there was a moon, she would come. I'm not afraid of the dark, but she is younger than I am. She was born after I was. Many and many are the visits I have paid her. She is my comfort and my refuge when my life is hard. And it is mainly that. Tuesday. All the morning I was at work improving the estate. I purposely kept away from him in the hope that he would get lonely and come. But he did not. At noon I stopped for the day and took my recreation by flitting all about with the bees and the butterflies and reveling in the flowers, those beautiful creatures that catch the smile of God out of the sky and preserve it. I gathered them and made them into wreaths and garlands, and clothed myself in them whilst I ate my luncheon. Apples, of course. Then I sat in the shade and wished and waited. But he did not come. But no matter. Nothing would have come of it, for if he does not care for flowers, he calls them rubbish and cannot tell one from another, and thinks it is superior to feel that. He does not care for me, he does not care for flowers, he does not care for the painted sky at eventide. Is there anything he does care for except building shacks to coop himself up from the good clean rain and thumping the melons, sampling the grapes, and fingering the fruit on the trees to see how these properties are coming along? I laid a dry stick on the ground and I tried to bore a hole in it with another one in order to carry out a scheme that I had. And soon I got an awful fright. A thin, transparent, bluish film rose out of that hole, and I dropped everything and ran. I thought it was a spirit. I was so frightened. But I looked back and it was not coming. So I leaned against a rock and rested and panted and let my limbs go on trembling until they got steady again. Then I crept warily back, alert, watching and ready to fly if there was occasion. And when I was come near, I parted the branches of a rose bush and peeped through, wishing the man was about. I was looking so cunning and pretty, but the sprite was gone. I went there, and there was a pinch of delicate pink dust in the hole. I put my finger in to feel it and said, "Ouch!" Took it out again. It was a cruel pain. I put my finger in my mouth, and by standing first on one foot and then the other, and then grunting, I presently eased my misery. Then I was full of interests and began to examine. I was curious to know what the pink dust was. Suddenly the name of it occurred to me, though I never heard of it before. It was fire. I was as certain of it as a person could be of anything in the world, so without hesitation I named it that. Fire. I had created something that didn't exist before. I had added a new thing to the world's uncountable properties. I realized this and was proud of my achievement. I was going to run and find him and tell him about it, thinking to raise myself in his esteem. But I reflected and did not do it. No, he would not care for it. He would ask what it was good for, and what could I answer? For it was not good for something, but only beautiful, merely beautiful. So I sighed and did not go, for it wasn't good for anything. It could not build a shack. It could not improve melons. It could not hurry a fruit cup. It was useless. It was a foolishness and a vanity. He would despise it and say cutting words. But to me it was not despicable. I said, "Oh, you fire, I love you, you dainty pink creature, for you are beautiful, and that is enough." I was going to gather it to my breast, but refrained. Then I made another maxim out of my own head, thought it was nearly like the first one. I was afraid it was only a plagiarism. The burnt experiment shuns the fire. I wrought again. When I made a good deal of fire dust, I emptied it into a handful of dry brown grass, intending to carry it home and keep it in arms and play with it. But the wind struck it, and it sprayed and spat out at me fiercely, and I dropped it and ran. When I looked back at the blue spirit, it was towering up and stretching and rolling away like a cloud, and instantly I thought of the name of it, smoke, though upon my word I had never heard of smoke before. Soon brilliant yellow and red flares shot up through the smoke, and I was named them in an instant, flames. And I was right too, though these were the very first flames that had ever been in the world. They climbed the trees. They flashed splendidly in and out of the vast and increasing volume of tumbling smoke, and I had to clap my hands and laugh and dance in my rapture. It was so new and strange and so wonderful and so beautiful. He came running and stopped and gazed and said not a word for many minutes. Then he asked what it was. It was too bad that he should ask such a direct question. I had to answer it, of course, and I did. I said it was fire. It annoyed him that I should know, and he must ask. That was not my fault. I had no desire to annoy him. After a pause, he asked, "How did it come?" Another direct question, but it also had to have a direct answer. I made it. The fire was traveling farther and farther off. He went to the edge of the burned place and stood looking down and said, "What are these?" "Fire coals." He picked one up to examine it, but changed his mind and put it down again. Then he went away. Nothing interests him. But I was interested. There were ashes gray and soft and delicate and pretty. I knew what they were at once. And the embers, I knew the embers too. I found my apples and raked them out and was glad, for I am very young and my appetite is active. But I was disappointed they were all burst open and spoiled. Spoiled, apparently, but it was not so. They were better than the raw ones. Fire is beautiful. Someday it will be useful, I think. Well, that'll do it for part 2 of Eve's Diary. So I really do hope that y'all enjoyed that section, and I hope y'all join us again tomorrow evening back at 7 for part 3 of 4 of Eve's Diary. And our final night, as you can probably guess by this timeline, will be New Year's Eve. Now, we hope to catch you on here before you have your New Year's plans, if you happen to have any. And if you do, please be safe out there. That damn Omicron is just sneaking around like you know what. So, folks, until we meet again, this has been No Twain, No Game. I wish you good night. Thank you. Oh. Couldn't leave without taking a sip of our famous blended Scotch whiskey from the far-off fields of the Costco. Wow.